Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily, I say unto you, I know you not. Watch, therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh.
Nestled in a grove of trees at the top of a steep hill, there was a shop, and every person who toiled up the path to the top came for the same reason, to buy oil. The shopkeeper was a young man with thick brown hair. His large hands were strong but gentle. He spent much of his time sitting at a wooden workbench, carefully sculpting small oil-burning lamps. It was his tradition to give one of these lamps to every person who moved into the village. Each lamp was meticulously crafted, and each was different from the others. Some were round, others were oval. Some were made of ordinary clay, and others were made of terracotta. Some were perfectly smooth, while others had intricate designs tooled into their surfaces. But all of them held oil, and all of them produced light. The shopkeeper carefully sculpted each lamp to complement a quality he hoped each woman would develop within herself. With time and effort, each could become
a woman of the Scriptures,
a woman who takes the Spirit for her guide,
a woman who is loyal,
a woman of humility,
a woman who keeps the commandments,
a woman of service,
a woman who respects sacred things,
a woman who diligently prepares,
a woman of prayer,
a woman of grace, personal conversion, and holiness.
With her lamp, each woman was given a choice. She could use her gift carelessly, foolishly thinking she had plenty of time to prepare, or she could use her gift at all times and in all things and in all places. The shopkeeper reminded each woman to return to his shop often. The tiny flame of the lamp produced could not be maintained without an ongoing supply of oil, and the lamp maker's shop was the only source of oil in the village. But the path to the top of the hill was steep, and the journey took time and effort. Those seeking oil would arrive at the lampmaker's shop at all times of the day or night, and each was met with a warm welcome, no matter the hour. The shopkeeper's brown eyes would light up as the lamp owner would come through his door, and he would always set his work aside to visit. Everyone knows his face, the shopkeeper on the hill. All through the night the light from his window burns as he works the clay, and everyone waits to see the lamp he's designed for her, carefully crafted, perfectly planned to be just as unique as she, the sculptor of her soul, a vessel carved to hold the precious oil she needs. heart and shape a work of art that only he can fill, the shopkeeper on the hill. She knows where she will find the shopkeeper on the hill. Rugged and steep, each step of it worth the climb. Whenever she takes the time, he reminds her to return, so her love will always burn with the oil he freely gives. He holds the light to guide her path. He hopes she'll bring the lamp that only he can fill. His door is open still, the shopkeeper on the hill. He waits at the window. One of the first women to receive a lamp from the shopkeeper was Eliana.
I use my lamp to light the shadowed corners of my small home. When evening comes, I often sit next to its warm glow and read from my favorite books. Sometimes, when I've finished reading, I set my book down next to the lamp, wrap a soft blanket around my shoulders, and then watch the flame flicker and dance. My lamp has seen me through joy and celebration, and has given me comfort through disappointment and discouragement. Even now, after years of use, the flame still burns as brightly as it did the day the lamp was made. My lamp was the first that was made, carefully sculpted in pale yellow clay, strengthened by fire and refined, shaped and prepared to endure over time, through heartache and joy, by day and by night. It reminds me of treasures I've read by its light. It's more than a gift that he gave long ago. This lamp holds the light that brings peace to my soul. A flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks what I need. It's guided me all of my days and led me through valleys of sorrows I faced, bringing me comfort and strength, giving me courage to trust him in faith. It's more than a gift that he gave long ago.
This lamp holds the light that brings peace to my soul, a flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks. The words of the shopkeeper live in my heart, whispering truth that shines light in the dark. A flame that is constant through change, still burning as bright as the day it was made. Its warmth reassures that he listens to me, and he lovingly, so tenderly speaks what I need. Always tenderly speaks what I need.
The shopkeeper worried for Ashira because she was always so rushed and hurried. He watched her run in and out of her house all day long. Half the time she had to run back for her shoes. Most of the time she forgot to take her lamp. He knew of her great responsibility as a teacher, healer, mender, and caregiver, but he also knew the concerns of her heart.
Most days, it's all I can do just to get dressed in the morning. As soon as the sun comes up over the mountain, I get right to work. On one hand, I feel as though I can never get anything accomplished. On the other, I feel as though I'm everything to everyone. Sometimes, I look up at the shop on the hill and I think to myself, today will be the day. Somewhere between washing the dishes, scrubbing the floors, reading to the children in the village, and a trip to the market, I will find the time. Somewhere in the back of my mind, somehow I will find the time to visit you, to learn from you. But in trying to be everything, I'm missing the most important things: to know you, to feel you. Help me just find the time to remember my light. I will come to you today. Nothing will take your place. I will push the world away, and I will run to you. Everything else can wait. Nothing matters more than you today. Always someone needing my time, always something on my mind. It weighs on me, pulls me. Help me lay down my load, what I need most. I will come to you today. Nothing will take your place. I will push the world away, and I will run to you. Everything else can wait. Nothing matters more than you
The shopkeeper knew that each of the women used her lamp in her own way. He also knew that those who visited his shop most frequently were those who used their lamps most often. As he was asked to do so, the shopkeeper would refill the tiny lamps with oil, drop by drop, according to each woman's need. Dina was the first to ask the shopkeeper for a vessel to hold more oil. It seemed that the supply in her lamp wasn't enough to keep the flame burning between her frequent visits to the shop. Dina was known throughout the village for her ability to bring comfort at any time of the day or night.
I use my lamp to light the way as I traveled to the homes of the villagers during the night. Because I used my lamp constantly, I worried that I might run out of oil on my journeys through the darkness. So I asked the shopkeeper to make a vessel so that I could carry extra oil from my lamp. My lamp has brightened the homes of the sick, and it has warmed the lives of the lonely. It has accompanied me through times when I have seen sorrow, and through the moments when I have witnessed grief. It's in your eyes, but hard to see. You've hidden it well, still I sense your need. But you don't have to walk alone. I know a simple way to brighten up your road. I will fill my vessel and light my flame, and I will wait with you. I will stay with you until your heart begins to mend and the last tear falls, till the shadows of the evening have given way to morning and a flicker of hope returns and your own light burns. I've weathered storms, I felt the pounding rain, and I am no stranger to grief and pain. But through it all, His love has been true. Now I want to share the hope and peace I feel with you. So I will fill my vessel and light my flame, and I will wait with you. I will stay with you until your heart begins to mend and the last tear falls, till the shadows of the evening have given way to morning and a flicker of hope returns and your own light burns.
Nava's lamp was molded from beautiful deep orange clay. After carefully inscribing an intricate floral design across the top of the lamp, the shopkeeper gently placed it in the kiln. Nava knew that her lamp was something to be treasured, and she carried it everywhere she went.
And knew this gift was something to be treasured. But keeping the flame lit is a difficult task, one that requires constant attention. And so even though I carry it with me wherever I go, I rarely light my lamp. On special occasions, I sit at the table in my kitchen and pull the wick through the small hole at the top. I have to trim the used and blackened portion of the wick before lighting it again. This ensures the flame will burn bright and true. Sometimes I admire the soft, gentle beauty of the flame and wonder why I don't light my lamp more often. the spirit of this dancing flame, flickering, awakening, a longing for this feeling to remain. I can't deny it, there's no excuse. It's always with me, but rarely used. In the stillness of this moment, there are traces of regret. I try so hard to remember, but it's so easy to forget. Lovingly, so carefully, hidden in this intricate design, beckoning, calling me. There's always something here for me to find. These precious moments have become so few. Why do I forget when there's so much to lose? This treasure I've been given is a gift I can't neglect. I try so hard to remember, but it's so easy to forget. I will try to remember.
The shopkeeper watched Gabriella closely for many days before he finally came up with the perfect design for her lamp. She was an unassuming woman and rarely called attention to herself, which made the task all the more challenging. She was also gentle and wise beyond her years. Her clothing was unadorned and beautiful in its simplicity. She had a natural style and elegance that were all her own.
Every morning I make my narrow way up the path that leads to the shopkeeper. I'm beginning to realize spending more time with him will help me to become more like him. He makes me feel welcome every time I visit. It is my hope that those who come to my home to visit will find me to be a loyal friend such as he is, one who speaks of others with respect and admiration. When the shopkeeper asked me what I hoped for, I asked him to make my lamp simple. He molded the clay into an oval shape that fits perfectly in the palm of my hand. With painstaking care, he smoothed away each rough spot and imperfection. My lamp is simple, allowing those who see it to focus on the flame. Take my eyes, clear my view, heal my blindness until all I see is you. Take my lips that I may speak words of kindness that comfort, lift, and heal. Help me stand against the winds that blow. Make my feet to walk the path that you have shown. So I'll be more faithful and devoted. I'll be more worthy of your name. Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you I can become more.
Adi wondered if she would ever be enough, and the shopkeeper watched her struggle. He had crafted her lamp with a complicated geometric design, one that would stand out. Still, Adi spent much of her time comparing it to the lamps he had given the others.
I feel that I am so much less than everyone else in this village. It doesn't matter what I do. It always seems that I'm never enough. Sometimes I feel that my lamp isn't as nice as the lamps the shopkeeper gave the others. In some ways, my lamp is beautiful, but in others, I feel that it is lacking.
The shopkeeper knew that Adi would quickly tire of her lamp, and so he hid a yellow diamond pattern in the intricate design of the brown clay. With use, the diamond design would eventually show through. Uncomprehending, Adi longed for more. Would she ever discover all the hidden treasure that she already carried with her?
Am I enough? What do others see? When they pass me by, I wonder what they think. If they knew how I really felt inside, how I want to change the insecurities I hide. Simple and plain, nothing beautiful or grand. But could I be if placed in your hands? Could I be more confident and happy? Could I be more sure of who I am? Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you, I hope to become more.
I'll be more faithful and devoted. I'll be more. Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before?
Through you, can I become?
Through you, I can become more.
Liraz had had a hard time waiting for her lamp to be made. As the shopkeeper was crafting her lamp, she would often run into the shop, pulling her wind-blown hair back into place, her round brown eyes wide with anticipation.
I visited the shop every day. I would watch as he sat at his wooden workbench molding my lamp. I could hardly wait for the moment that it would be finished. He often said that he appreciated my visits and enjoyed our conversations. Now that my lamp is finished, my visits to the shop have become fewer and further between. The journey up the hill just takes too long. In the morning, I'm too busy, and in the evening, I'm too tired. But when I'm in desperate need, I do go to him. And every time, the shopkeeper seems so grateful for my visits. I can tell him everything. That's the way it's always been. And every time I talk to him, it makes my day. I see his light in the distance, and I don't forget to wave as my life goes by. In my hour of desperate need, he's been there to comfort me. When I've been in tears and shown up at his door. And now I try to stop for a visit as I run from place to place. But then the time goes by. Someday soon I'll spend the day telling him everything, and listening to his gentle voice. Maybe someday I'll have that kind of time, but not today. I hope he understands. He understands my tender heart. He understands my restless soul. He loves my smile and he knows the things that make me cry. I know that I need to see him and tell him how I've been before this night goes by.
Malka's lamp was hewn from a beautiful piece of soft red sandstone. After the shopkeeper had given her gift, she looked at it in wonder. She was amazed that the shopkeeper had gone to the effort to make her such a beautiful gift.
When the shopkeeper gave me my lamp, I noticed the design was very unique. It must have taken him hours to shape and smooth it. I thanked him for the gift and put it carefully in my bag. Sometimes I look at my lamp and I can't believe how lucky I am. I feel so flattered that the shopkeeper would have taken the time to make me such a beautiful gift. But none of my friends ever uses her lamp, and besides, I know the village so well, I don't need a light to guide my way. I rarely light my lamp at all. I can see just fine through the darkness. But my lamp is truly beautiful. So I'll set it out in my home as a decoration for my friends to admire. What a beautiful piece of work, a magnificent work of art. I've never seen a design like this, or as finely crafted a lamp as this beautiful piece of work. How many hours did it take to carve and smooth and shape? Oh, what an honor and joy this is. I'm flattered with such a gift as this magnificent work of art. I guess I could take it out, but it could get worn, it might get broken, some misfortune or happenstance. Should I really take the chance on this beautiful piece of work, magnificent work of art? To show just what it means to me, I'll display it with care so all can see this beautiful piece of work, magnificent work of art.
After the shopkeeper gave Leora her lamp, he had watched her take the hand of other villagers and by its light lead them through the darkness. He noticed that every time her path met another, she would pause, lift her lamp in front of her, and consider her direction. Because it was hard for Leora to focus in the darkness, the shopkeeper worried that she might become lost when she came to a fork or bend in the road. He knew that without enough light, she would not be able to find her way.
One afternoon, the shopkeeper cut a long branch from a tree outside of his shop, and he whittled it until it was smooth. He then crafted this small cup just large enough for my lamp to fit inside and fastened it to the end of the pole. He must have known that I would treasure this unique gift. On the first evening after he gave it to me, I placed my lamp inside. I lifted it up high and it lit the entire path. I have noticed that the flame grows brighter as the night grows deeper. allowing me to help the lost and the weary and the worn find their way back home. Evening lights retire one by one. Tired eyes are setting with the sun. But surely as the day is done, some walk in shadows, faces that I've never seen before. Some I've known so well I can't ignore. Their voices calling at my door, lost as the wind blows. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, bringing hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. I would give every tiny part, every hidden corner of my heart to mend the world that's torn apart, healing the aching, reaching out. Something in my soul cries out loud, not for me but so much more for those who wander in the cold, trembling and shaking. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, bringing hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. And should it fade away, its ashes turn to gray, it's not too late. For every fire that dies, the sun won't fail to rise another day. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows, bringing hope, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light.
Jessa wasn't sure how it had happened. She woke up one morning to find her lamp in broken pieces on the floor. Perhaps it had blown off the table during the furious winds that preceded the storm. She was devastated.
I felt as if my heart had broken. I could barely see through my tears as I picked up the tiny pieces and placed them gently on the table. Every time I walked past the pile, I wondered if the heartache I felt inside would ever go away. After many days, I finally accepted what I had known all along. There was only one who could fix my lamp. So I gathered up the broken pieces and I started up the hill. But then it began to rain and the path became slippery. And then the downpour came and the wind whipped my hair in front of my eyes and it became hard to see. When I realized I wasn't going to make it, I cried out for help. In an instant, he was there. The shopkeeper had been walking just below me. He covered me with his warm, heavy cloak, and then lifted me with strong, steady arms and carried me the rest of the way up the hill. After the storm was over, he sent me back down the hill with 2 gifts, my restored lamp and a grateful heart.
felt the winds of change blow so hard, it's chilled me to the core, and pain has knocked at my door. But I have never heard like this before. Only one can tear pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part darkness and breathe light into my aching soul. One way, one light, one hope, only one. I pick up the pieces, every little bit. I'll gather all of them, even ones that seem impossible to fix, and I'll place them all in His hand. When I cannot restore, He can. Only one can take pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part in darkness and breathe light into my aching soul. One way, one light, one hope, only
In time, the shopkeeper decided to marry and choose a bride. Each of the 10 women received an invitation to attend the wedding, and each was asked to take part in one of the village's most honored customs. On the night of the wedding, these 10 chosen women would use their lamps to light the doorway of the home where the wedding would be held. The glow from their lamps would bring honor to the groom as he entered the home for the celebration. It was a great privilege to be given this invitation, one that many women waited a lifetime to receive. The women could barely contain their excitement for the events that were about to unfold, and finally the long-awaited day arrived. The 10 women made their way through the crowded streets of the village to the entry of the home where the wedding would be held, and the shopkeeper watched from the top of the hill and waited. Finally, the 10 chosen women arrived at their destination. Each found a comfortable place in the alcove of the doorway and settled down to wait. Time passed slowly, and growing weary, the women closed their eyes and slept. The 11th hour came and went. The entire village grew quiet under the soft glow of the moon. And still, the shopkeeper watched from the top of the hill and waited. Someday the light giver will come to claim those who bear His name. The very trees and skies will praise His name, and some will come to meet him and find his arms at last. Others will know their time has passed. The door will close and they will go, never to enter in. They will not know him when he comes. Then, at precisely the darkest hour of the night, when a hush had fallen over the sleeping village, those villagers who had patiently waited and watched raised a cry. The silence was broken. The women awoke with a start. The moment was at hand, and it was time to trim their lamps. Suddenly alert, Jessa quickly used her extra oil to fill her darkened lamp. A lifetime of waiting had come to an end, and she hoped she had made sufficient preparation. Gabriella reached for her vessel and filled her simple lamp with all of the remaining oil she had. As she carefully tucked her empty vessel away, Nava, who was sitting beside her, let out a small cry. Her flame had gone out. Her lamp was empty. She had not brought any extra oil. What would she do now?
Waited for this night for as long as I can remember. I desperately want to be a part of this wedding, but my preparations weren't enough. Why didn't I get more oil? The thought never crossed my mind.
Frantic, Nava turned to Gabriella to see if she had extra oil, but there was none to spare. She watched the other women trim their lamps as tears ran down her cheeks and fell on the empty flowered lamp that was cradled in the folds of her dress. Realizing her mistake, Nava fell to the ground, weeping. With the bridegroom approaching, the preparations around her intensified, and soon other women in the group realized that they were also short of oil.
I have been so consumed with the daily necessities of running my home that I've kept putting off making the trip to the top of the hill. I just simply ran out of time.
I haven't visited with the shopkeeper in quite a while. Days turned into months, and I lost track. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. It never occurred to me that he would arrive so late in the evening. I didn't prepare for the delay.
I guess I wondered if there would ever really be a wedding. I considered buying oil for my lamp, but since I rarely use it, I thought the oil might go to waste.
I used all of my extra money to buy a new dress for the wedding because I wanted to look as nice as the others. There wasn't enough money left over to buy oil.
The 5 women rushed over to Dina and Leora and fell at their feet, begging for help. These women had brightened the darkness for them in the past. Surely they would share their oil. But what had been prepared could not be shared in an instant. Every drop was needed now. They could not risk letting their own lamps run empty. As much as they longed to help their friends, there was nothing they could do. Finally, weeping tears of frustration, the 5 foolish women turned to Eliana. The wise woman could give them nothing but advice.
You will have to go out into the darkness of night and find oil. Buy what you need and then return. But hurry, he is coming.
Clutching their empty lamps, the frantic women ran out through the garden gate and into the village streets. They would never make it back in time. The 5 remaining women carefully trimmed their wicks and finished emptying the oil from their vessels into their lamps. The bridegroom made his way through the crowded streets. He turned the corner just in time to see the 5 foolish women running toward the hill. His heart ached for their lack of preparation. Then he lifted his eyes to the doorway and took in the sight he had waited a lifetime to see. Leora was there with her finely crafted pole, holding her lamp high. The flame from Gabriella's simple lamp lit up her eyes, which glistened with anticipation. Dina lifted her lamp so the flame could dance with the others, adding a soft glow to the brilliant display of light. Eliana rested her hand on Dina's arm and lifted her yellow lamp as high as her arm could reach. And quiet Jessa had fallen to her knees, her lamp cupped carefully in both hands, while tears of overwhelming gratitude streamed down her cheeks. These 5 women had each come to know the bridegroom, and their hearts filled with joy as they watched him stride through the garden gate and down the pathway that led to the great wooden door.
He lifted me and strengthened me.
He believed in me and encouraged me.
When I was weak, he made me strong.
When I thought I could not go on any longer, he made up the difference.
When I found disappointment, he offered consoling peace.
The shopkeeper paused and greeted each of the women one by one. Then he invited them in for the wedding feast. Together, the 5 women raised their lamps in a final tribute and went in with him into the marriage, and the great wooden door was shut. And at that day, when I shall come in my glory, shall the parable be fulfilled which I spake concerning the 10 virgins. For they that are wise and have received the truth and have taken the Holy Spirit for their guide and have not been deceived, verily I say unto you, they shall not be hewn down and cast into the fire, but shall abide the day. For the Lord shall be in their midst, and his glory shall be upon them. We are all invited to the feast. Each of us is welcome, from the greatest to the least. We hold the invitation in our hands. It's written in each crevice of our own lamps. I promise I'll prepare to be there on that day, dancing in the glory as we celebrate.
Like a lamp, the Master planned each of us with his grand design. The oil is the light I will burn through the night as I wait for him to come again. There will always be enough if I run to him to fill it up, drop by drop by drop, till I know him perfectly when he comes for me.
Humble hearts are waiting for the day, faithfully preparing for the chance to light his way. Guardians of the vessels that will burn, watching for the Master to return. Maker of the gift that only he can fill, keeper of the precious oil is waiting still. Like a lamp, the Master planned each of us with his grand design. The oil is the light I will burn through the night
till I know him perfectly when he comes for me.
And I will kiss the hands that make my lamb. When he comes again, I will honor him like a lamb. The Master planned each of us with his grand design. The oil is the light. I will burn through the night as I wait for him to come again. There will always be enough if I run to him to fill it up, drop by drop by drop,
till I'm kneeling at his feet, and I know him perfectly.
I'll be worthy of my King
when he comes for me.